Please go ahead, sir. We are live now.
Thank you very much, Nirupma. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ASSOCHAM's capacity building series on Atmanirbhar Bharat. With the slogan of Be Vocal for Local, our Honorable Prime Minister has envisaged a great opportunity to strengthen brand India. He has stated the need to create more entrepreneurs in the country. And instead of seeking employment, people should begin to give employment. The focus has to be on self-reliance, and therefore an entrepreneurial mindset is indeed the need of the hour. Global megatrends such as rising role of technology, climate change, demographic shift, urbanization, and the globalizations of value chains are changing the nature of work and skills demand. The development of skills can contribute to structural transformation and economic growth by enhancing employability and labor productivity and helping countries to become more competitive. Investment in high quality workforce can create a virtuous cycle where relevant and quality skills enable productivity, growth, and foreign direct investments, which results in greater and better jobs for the current workforce, along with more public and private investment in education and training systems. This in turn increases the employability and productivity for both the current and future workforce. The youth of our country are vital to our future, and by championing their skill development through technical, vocational education, training and development will go a long way in closing the well-documented skill gap and ultimately help in the overall development of the nation. Through this program, we are hoping that more and more students and entrepreneurs will get motivated to start something of their own and will be more focused on producing quality-oriented products. Exposure shall be provided to startups ecosystem in creation of brands that meet the global standards. Against this backdrop, ASSOCHAM has initiated this series with distinguished personalities to share their success stories. And I'm happy today to all the viewers and participants to present with us Mr. Saurabh Kaushik, India's premier coach and founder, CEO of Peopleist India. Mr. Saurabh Kaushik was born in Delhi and has various degrees to his credit. He has done his post-graduation in Human Resource Management from XLRI, Jamshedpur, Executive Online Learning, HMM from Harvard Business School, Executive Online Learning, Global Hospitality, Cornell University, degree in Organization Design, creating and competitive advantage, online learning from Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, and entrepreneurial mindset, executive online learning from Babson College. He's got endless degrees, and I'm sure he is going to share all his experience and knowledge. Just to say a few words about him, his proprietary coaching technology combines modern-day coaching with expert business growth consulting and harness the latest understanding of human performance to deliver industry-leading business results for his clients. His cutting-edge expertise of the marketplace businesses and people helps audience take away thought-provoking yet actionable insights to help them achieve their greatest breakthrough effortlessly. One of the stellar examples of his has been TEDx talk on breaking the barrier, where among other things, he spoke his heart out about how breaking barriers made him reach the point where he stands today. He believes that there is nothing worse than a life not lived. His work is more like a hobby which he enjoys thoroughly. Saurabh's advice to the youth is to do what you love. Keep moving and adding value incrementally. I want to actually share with all of you my own thoughts. This is my firm belief that ultimately success comes to those who perceive and also show perseverance, and to those who conquer the fear of failure. The youth, therefore, must have unshakable belief in themselves and have the confidence and conviction in whatever they set out to do. We are delighted to have Mr. Saurabh Kaushik in our midst today. Someone with such unique skill sets is indeed rare. Listening to him is bound to make us more educated on a wide array of issues. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Saurabh Kaushik, and may I request him to please deliver the address. And thank you very much for joining us, Saurabh, this afternoon. Over to you.
Thank you, Anilji. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Audible? Fantastic. Thank you, Anilji, for this wonderful invite. I'm truly honored to be here with all of you on this platform provided by ASSOCHAM and supported by Sunfeast. Anilji, I think how beautifully you've summarized, how beautifully you've put it forward, how India is progressing, and given the unprecedented scenario there is globally, not just in our country. These are truly challenging times, and I'm not going to get into geopolitics and how the business is evolving in different parts of the world. We'll focus on our making India self-reliant. I think we have a lot of things going with us, going for us. There's already, we are one of the youngest nations in terms of our youth, the youngest population. We have that demographics with us. And clearly, in almost all spheres around the world, we have Indians leading from the front. In entrepreneurial domain, we have some of the greatest unicorn stories in the world. If you look at the top brands in the world, they're also run by Indians. We all know Google, Microsoft, IBM, you name it. If you count the greatest brands, if not the number one person, firstly, we have the number one people running the shows, the CEOs of these great giant business houses being Indians. And, all the way below so we clearly have no dearth of talent. But even today, when I go to these IITs, IIMs, and the best of colleges in the country, I find a majority of us are still looking for jobs. And great, and that is great. We must. I feel certainly our hearts need to open up a little bit more. I'll give you an example of IITs specifically. Let's say IITs, IIMs, and top colleges. Now these are the select, lesser than 1% of our country. And I think clearly we could be a little more entrepreneurial, So I just share some of my learnings. And I'll share my learnings of coaching billionaires and coaching industrialists and coaching young entrepreneurs as well. I made to understand that we have a lot of students here. So I'll focus on them and young entrepreneurs. And I believe we have some professionals as well here. Clearly people think that from a college perspective, for budding students, there is this notion that, employment is easier because it pays upfront, and entrepreneurship is difficult, and they have this take, which couldn't be further from the truth. And this is changing. I'm so happy to see that this is changing. There are more and more people pursuing entrepreneurship. I just got a list of entrepreneurs who've become hugely successful. I'll just tell you some companies without going to a lot of detail. We have Oyo, Paytm, Swiggy, Ola, Make My Trip, Byju's, Big Basket, Zomato, Zivame, Ecom Express, Urban Ladder, Policy Bazaar, Bira, Chayos, Milk Basket, KyoFed, Grofers, Pepperfry, InMobi, Zerodha, Lenskart, and the list is endless. You know, so many entrepreneurs becoming successful. A lot of people say that we're not being successful in the entrepreneurial endeavors. I think India has never been as successful in the recent mapped history I'm talking about. Uh, so clearly, there's a lot of successes coming in, and when one of these entrepreneurs who dare to dream and follow their dreams and fight for them, when these guys move ahead, they carry the whole you know like their whole teams and their families and everybody together. It's just wonderful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some insights about why entrepreneurship to start with. Why entrepreneurship from a college perspective. Look at it this way. Anybody, in my own research, like I've in my own little research, not documented, but just when I come across, meet so many people around the country, I see if there's anybody who's not given up for 5 to 10 years in entrepreneurship and who has the basics right. Like uh, if your sole purpose is not just earning money and it is genuinely to serve a customer, solve a problem, and it could be solve a problem for one customer. If you got that part basic right, which is that you start with a customer whose one genuine problem you solve. If you start with that, give it 5 years, 5 to 10 years, there is no way you would earn at least 100 times more, at the very least 100 times more as compared to employment. And both are great. A lot of us can venture into entrepreneurship, and a lot of us may think that we cannot right now. Uh, See, there's again a perception again that you need money to make money. Again, untrue, completely untrue. How do you go around it is, find one customer first. I see so many people, they make a business plan and they're hunting for funding. And trust me, it absolutely doesn't work like that. If you find great funding, you only just up the ante, and it might just be a little more difficult, way more difficult for you to make success. There's literally, at least I can say that there's not a specific correlation between having more money and more success. If at all there is one, in my personal experience, I've seen it works the other way. When you have more money, the scale of everything becomes big, and then problems and everything, anything that happens then is difficult to control, and it eventually leads to disaster, and then is different. The smaller you are, the lesser that we start. Okay, the earlier that you start with finding one customer whose problem you genuinely love to solve, being able to solve that problem, getting the opportunity to solve a problem for a real customer. I think that should be the reward in itself, and it truly is if you've got these basics right again. And the growth and the rewards in terms of appreciation and the money that you'll get will follow, and it just keeps building. Beyond that, how one must go is, principally find you need to get a coach or find someone who is the most successful people around you. Find out who's the most successful person around you and ask them for guidance. And if you do this the right way, ask them for a little guidance, uh, I think you'll do really well. One thing that I've noticed is a lot of people, there's metrics in the market, right? There's that majority entrepreneurs fail. I'll give you an example. Anybody who tries to do anything for the first time, you're bound to fail. So if you're thinking that you'll start a business, all of a sudden you're going to hit jackpot, doesn't happen like that. Uh, think of a small, simple example like making biryani. If you've not made biryani, you don't know how to make biryani, you will not get it right first time. You'd need help. And if you take help, even then you'll take 1 or 2 times. Of course, you'd not fail 500 times, but you'd still fail 5 or 10 times before you make it. So my biggest recommendation to everybody watching this is, please find someone who's more successful than you around you, and we will all have someone, that uncle, aunt, or someone, or neighbors, anybody. Just go approach them and offer to serve them. And don't worry, don't think that you'd get exploited or someone will take something from you. You have not much to give to start with, and if at all someone can extract value out of you, don't worry, you will also get a fair share of value automatically. I've seen college students and young entrepreneurs. They're like, my idea, and he will take 50% of my idea. Means nothing. Don't worry, just go ahead. In the bargain, you'd learn way more. There's so much that I could share. Um, but principally, one is that people think that entrepreneurship is more difficult. I'll tell you, when I started 8 years back in the entrepreneurial world, I looked at, and you can laugh at it, but I really looked at a golgappe wala, a pani puri wala, and I thought that if this guy can take risk and start a business, and I looked at my maid, if this my maid can take risk, okay, and serve like 5 houses. I was in a cushy, nice job. I was general manager HR for a group of companies, 8 years, 8 years, 7, 8 years back, and I was finding it hard to quit. But when I saw that, if everybody around me is doing it, I saw a coconut seller by the roadside. If these guys can take risk in and do what they believe in, or whatever they can do, for who they can do it for and make money, I said, dude, I'm going all in and I'm going to do this. And I found people I could serve, and I served them to the best of my abilities. And from then, there has been no looking back. Today, we have Fortune 500 companies lining up, and we clearly cannot meet, all the clients that we have, and people who want to associate with us. All I'm trying to share with you is, this is because I believed in myself, and all these great stories. And please do not worry about failures. All of this is, please understand, failures are the very way to success. Think of a little child. Think of a little toddler who wants to walk. You always know, firstly, you always know what you want, and you want to walk. But in trying so, you will fall, and you will fall again, and you will fall again. Now, if you think you need crutches to walk and you get crutches before time, like if you get crutches, you'll never be able to walk like you could had you chosen to continue falling and then eventually start, finding balance, then walking, and then running on your own. Friends, my recommendation is that, see, business, like anything that you do for the first time, you're bound to fail. And if you don't want to fail so many times, get some help from anybody around you who's doing business at a greater level. Offer to serve them in some way. And please don't worry, don't ask for money in the first place till you know your worth and you can command that in the market. A lot of us, we might find ourselves jobless. If you're looking for jobs, we might find ourselves as entrepreneurs not having customers. That's because you're asking too much. Make them an offer they cannot decline. Looking for jobs, go for internships. Don't ask for money for the first month. Just offer free, unconditional free work as an intern or however, and impress the hell out of them. Like, impress them. Impress your boss. You have one boss, and impress them. And remember to do work that you really connect with, that you resonate with, so that it is fun. And money is not the sole driving factor for just 1 month. And trust me, I have almost never found this go wrong. There can be one-off exception, okay, but that'll be like a one-off exception and doesn't happen generally. More often than not, if you're looking for a job, you'll find that whoever you're working for, if you give it your all in 1 month, that person's going to like you, and that person's going to pay you your fair share, or somewhere around it, which is going to be better than when you started. As an entrepreneur, my recommendation is, don't go about fancy business ideas. Google was not built like that, okay, like big business plans and all. These things happen, they evolve, because the market dynamics are not static. Everything evolves. uh, I'm not the best student coach, okay, so please pardon me for this. uh, but my recommendation is that, find one customer. I'll tell you how a lot of entrepreneurs go about setting their business. They find a big office, they find a nice office, they need nice furniture, have a hot secretary, and like they have expenses before you have your first customer. Okay, do it the other way. First, find a customer who has a problem that you want to solve, and solve it for him. Okay, now this is again, it depends on in the products and services and manufacturing, and it's very, very different. But unless, but generally speaking, find a customer first is my recommendation. So connect with yourself, figure out work that you want to do, find out who do you want to do it for and who you can do it for and who's around you, who's available. Serve that one customer better than anybody else could. And yeah, you'd have your first deal, and from there, no looking back. And you will make mistakes, but trust me, it will not kill you, and you will come out successful the other side. It is 100% every time. If you don't give up, uh, I'll give you one quote I want to share with you. I want you to hold this close to you. Winners never quit. Winners never quit, and like they say, quitters never win. Winners never quit. Quitters never win. Make a decision. You want to be an entrepreneur, and do it for yourself. I think to the best of my understanding, in our country, uh, the concept of employment and all of this is not very, very. It has not been forever. This is in the last 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 years, not or maybe 2000 years. India is way, way greater than that. Okay, we have documented history of like over 5,000, 10,000 years. Some say 16,000 years. So we are one of the greatest civilizations there has been. And clearly, if all, like, you see so many people venturing out on their own and trying their hand at entrepreneurship and becoming so successful, um, unless you give up. If you give up, of course you failed. But if you don't give up, all those failures are the steps to success, and you are bound to succeed. And if in doubt, take help from someone who's become successful. I'll give you an example. So you're someone who's earning nothing right now, okay? Because there are students here mostly, I feel. So let's say you are not making any money right now, not even 10,000 rupees a month. Find someone who's making 50,000 rupees in and doing a business, or 30,000 rupees, could be a property dealer or whoever. Ask them, "Aapne saab kaise kiya? How are you doing it?" He will, if he's earning 50,000, he'll at least help you on 10, 15, 20,000. And then you could ask the next level or the next level. Why I'm saying this is because, see, people who the rich really understand this, and that is why they get their second and third generation the greatest coaches and mentors. But what you could do is you could come to platforms like this, ASSOCHAM, where they have called someone like me, and there are other people. There's so many resources now available online. Invest in yourself, but don't fall for the trap of ever learning. Okay, there is this pandemic as well. Okay, of the learning. Learning for the sake of learning can get too much sometimes. Focus on a customer, focus on your craft, and get better at it. And to serve your customer, you want to learn, that is great. For hobby, you want to learn a little bit more, which is again fine. But there is, don't get in the loop of just learning for the sake of learning. You'd find most of our countries currently on YouTube learning things, and we just keep on learning because we feel we need this certification, we need that, whatever, just keep learning. And that may not be the best thing to do as well. So my recommendation, sum it all, in principle, is be of use, be of service to someone. Don't just go in a loop, keep learning things and imagining who's going to be your customer, and imagining a product or some service that you want to deliver, and start making it just like that. Find a customer who will pay you money for it, and work for that customer. For that, you need to learn something, go ahead, do it. And serve that customer better than anybody else. Anilji also mentioned, global brands, becoming, developing brands which have global standards. Trust me, that's the only way. Unless you're absolutely exceptional, yeah, it's going to be difficult. And trust me, and it's not very difficult. I'll give you an example. If you look around you, and I'll start small. So, for example, great tea. Within your house, how many places are there which serve you great tea and hot, fresh, great tea? Or how many places serve you great Maggie? Or how many of you have a great seamster, like a tailor around you? nahi milta hai. It doesn't exist. Okay, so there is so much potential, and India is just starting out. Let me give you a number. The people who have access to e-commerce and are shopping online is not even 10% of our nation. 90% of our nation, it's open. It's a runway for anybody who's serious about making a business. This is some of the greatest times for you to make, to take a lot of lead. Some of the best times. I think Digital India has provided us the platform on which you can dance. Like, you can literally make money and fast, provided you are focused on serving one product. Please do not start with two, definitely not with three. Focused on serving one product or one service or solve one problem for one customer. That's where you start. Okay, don't think I'll go to so many countries, which is great, but which is tomorrow. Start small. Start with one customer, solving one problem that you can solve today. Start with that. And trust me, I have seen this personally that if you give 5 years solving a genuine problem of genuine customer, of one genuine customer, or one customer, there is no way you'd not be at least 100 times ahead of, if you choose to work for someone else. And there are obvious reasons. And if you have questions, you can ask me questions and I'd be very happy to help. Uh, Fantastic. We have insights. Great quote, sir. Winners never quit. My friend, if you have just this one quote with you, winners never quit. But there's no point banging against the wall again and again, okay? Either. Okay. What I'm trying to share with you um is take help. Okay, take help. There is no fun in doing it alone. There's not like there, it's always stronger together. Uh, Take help from people who've done it. Take help. And there are a lot of people. If one person says no, no problem. If one customer says no, then there are, like, India is over 1 billion people strong, so we have a lot of people. It's endless. And find people close to you. Find your customer around you. Find a problem that you can solve with your current self. Imagine there's a person who has no skill, for example. Just offer one service. It could be, I will take your dogs for a walk. It can start at literally that simple. uh, See, I'll tell you, manufacturing, China is an ace in manufacturing. No problem, you can get your shit made from China. Like whatever you want to get, you don't have to do things that you cannot do. For example, if you're a student, suppose you are not great at manufacturing because you don't have the wherewithal to do it, you could offer a service. For example, people want to buy printers in your locality, but they don't know how to set up and install a printer. There's so many opportunities. Basically, be of service, be of use to start with. Don't think about the money for the first time. Okay, for the first deal, don't take money upfront. First serve, do great service, become of value. Once you become of value, then you can command that value and you could charge advance or however going forward. But to start with, figure out who your customer is and what is your craft. I'll give you an example. Be the servant of your craft and the master of your destiny. Be so good at what you do. Be so good at what you do that the world will come finding you wherever you are. And that's true for, like, if you're a small um, startup which has just 5-10 customers, or you could be a global conglomerate, doing whatever 100,000 crores kind of business onwards. uh, you got to be absolutely phenomenal at what you do, and it is a process. Nobody starts solid. Nobody starts with, like, Everest was done by one step. Starts with one step. Everything starts with one step. I think I've spoken a lot. This is not my forte, uh, speaking to a lot of people. I am a one-to-one coach. I want to know my one customer first, and then I do my job. Anilji, I think this gives some perspective. If there are some questions, we could take that.
Thank you very much, Saurabh.
Anji,
It's very nice listening to you.
thank you.
And you have very nicely put it across to our young participants who have joined us today how to chart a future course of action. They need to cite opportunity, and once you cite its opportunity, then you don't have to start very big. You start small without losing sight on big picture. And that's the kind of message you are giving it to people. And I am sure they will have a takeaway which shall remain with them for all times to come. I want to ask you a few questions.
Please.
We are living in a very different environment today. Last 1.5 year has changed many things for all of us. And this has created many opportunities and many challenges. So what would you, advise our young entrepreneurs or young people or students who join today that what are the kind of opportunities that they can cite during this pandemic?
I think the opportunities, thank you, Anilji, for that question. I think we started getting questions here. If you'd want, I can take these as well.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
most love answering specific questions and talking to specific people. Uh, so fantastic. Your question, what are the opportunities that these guys can look at, young students can look at today, and especially in these testing times in the middle of this pandemic? Well, like I said, for example, people need great food, uh, and that's not available around today. If you look at how many places serve clean, hygienic, great food do you fast for your everyday needs at great prices? Very few. In reality, if you look at it, although you have Zomato, but then who wants to pay 350 rupees for lunch? Nobody. Nobody in the sense for the majority of India, I'm saying right now. If you look at people have things that they want to call from, from a distance. You can have those, by people. So there is a business opportunity in almost everything, like seamsters, tailors. These are huge business ideas. Let me give you an example. Amazon today, or Oreo today, or Lenskart, all of these, we think that they are very big businesses and they must have started big. But almost every single great big conglomerate business house there is, they all started absolutely with nothing, almost nothing. Like all in the sense, like majority, at least in 80%, 80%. You look at, let me give you some examples. Look at Google, look at Microsoft, look at Oyo, look at Paytm, all of these, Swiggy, Ola. None of them was a billionaire to start with. They were all with no money. If at best, they were people who were dropouts of college or just magic, like basically college pass, and none of them had great funding. Today we hear that they pick up great funding, but that wasn't the case earlier. It's because fundamentally all these big ideas they sound ridiculous in the start. For example, a lens card. I'm just imagining a lens card would sound ridiculous to an investor because they're like, they'd be like, oh, wearing lenses is a very personal thing. People want to wear the eyewear themselves and feel it, and so nobody will buy it online. Like you'd face a lot of opposition in the beginning, but they got their first few customers right, and that is how a brand takes off. Look at what Amazon is doing, how they got their books, and I'm sure like people would know the story, but I will not waste time here right now for this. Look at Google, how they put basic data online, and that is how they started. Look at Facebook, started off a college. These young, Mark Zuckerberg. I think we've seen the movie around it. Uh, so great things always start small and almost never with a ton of money. I'm telling you, I've like of the billionaires I coach, they have a ton of money to give their second and third generation, but it does not give them success. I think if you ask me, it is way easier. Like I cannot say it is easier with money. Let's put it that way. So Anilji, to your question, there is a plethora of opportunities. It depends on who the person is, what is for that person to identify who's one person that I can serve around me, and it should start at literally that simple. Uh, there are, technically speaking, there are, I think, 11, 12 sectors that have been identified. There is a huge amount of opportunity in each one of those sectors. There's agriculture, there's the furniture space, for example, there's agrochemicals, and depending on who this person is who needs this help, there is a plethora of opportunities. Opportunities ही कमी नहीं है हमारे देश में, for sure. Anil ji, there are some questions here. Do you think you'd want me to take some questions here? Anil ji, I think
Yeah,
your is mute.
yes, Saurabh ji, I'm seeing it. It's actually the chat session. There are no questions in the question box. There are basically the chats,
Okay, it's the chat.
and
Acha, would you want me to
yeah,
take this?
You
these are
can
basically
take it.
complimenting.
Okay,
These are
okay.
complimenting you for the session, but yes, you can go through them.
Okay, okay. I just remembered, since I mentioned so there must be some people who are big businesses. Do we have big business owners? Because then I could share some, how do you make a business big? Because we had the global and branding kind of, global brand standards and those big words here. So what I'll do is I'll share one secret that I've almost found most of my billionaire coaches, when I ask them this question, that what is one thing that you'd want to tell your son or daughter if it was the last thing that you'd want to share them for business success? You want me to share that with you guys? I will repeat the question again. So I often in my practice, I ask them, what is one thing that you'd want to share with your second or third generation, apne bachcho se, before you go away, for their business success? Do you know what all of them share? It's very similar,
Yeah.
similar lines.
Yeah.
They say, and I'm just, giving you a broad trend that I have noticed in 3 to 4 points. Number one, find a problem that you want to solve. find what you want to do, figure out what you want to do, and it should be from the heart, not from the head, not based on what opportunities exist, based on what you love to do. Okay, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you enjoy doing? So based on, figure out, number one, step one is figure out what you want to do. Number two is figure out who can do it. And number three is, if you have the money, copy them and make it better. Or if you have the money, if you don't have the money, then you copy them. But if you have the money, hire their number twos and threes. And third is, let them do the job. I will repeat this again. So what they will give their children, three advice, for example. Number one is figure out what you want to do. Second is find people who can do it. And third, hire them and take care of them and watch your business grow. I will repeat it one more time just so that this is extremely clear. Secret is, number one, figure out what you want to do. Number two, find out who's doing it, who knows how to do it. Like, figure out who your competitor is, uske number two and three. Get those guys and let them do the job, and like take care of those guys and watch your business grow. This is oversimplifying it. For if you don't have the money, then this becomes figure out what you want to do, figure out who's already killing it in that business or as close to your business as possible, and figure out how they're doing it, and then emulate that as far as possible. Principally, just to sum it up, let's take questions here. How can we attract investors? Again, fundamentally speaking, you don't want to attract investors. For over 90% people who are looking for investors, you do not need investors right now. Investors have a way of finding you if it is the right time for you to find an investor. I will repeat this again. If it is good time for you to find an investor, the investor will find you. For example, if you need a bank loan and you should get it and you will get it, then bank guys will call you. You will not have to call them. But if you need a bank loan and you will not get it, then you will have to find banks and they will tell you, no, you'll not get it. How can we attract investors? So you should be attracting great customers who will give you great business. And if you do this first part right, investors will come sniffing for you. I hope that helps. Let's move ahead. What is the reason how many entrepreneurs fail after some time? Well, I've heard different numbers. There's some research which says 95% fail, 97% fail in the first 10 years. Scary numbers, but don't go by that because most people quit. So you have to fail, and eventually win. It's like how a toddler starts walking. You fall, and then you start walking, and then you start running as well. So people who give up fast, they don't make it. Yeah, they fail. So the reason for their failing is because they quit. And of course, there can be very many reasons, and we can elaborate this. But principally speaking, why they fail is also because they don't find enough paying customers to sustain. That's the reason. Okay, so what is the reason why many entrepreneurs fail? Because they think that they'll get it right for the first time. I'll give you an example. In our country, historically, you must have seen people around you also. It takes a full generation to set a strong business. Anil ji would agree with me. It takes एक पूरी पीढ़ी लग जाती है धंधा अच्छे से बिठाने में, तगड़ा धंधा बिठाने में, to set a solid business. Now, if you want to do it faster than that, then you need to collaborate with people, find people who are experts, hire them, or get solid mentors, get solid coach. It's like you want to navigate a jungle in the dark. How are you going to do it? Get someone who goes through jungle every day, and then you're naturally going to be way better off, is how you win in this game. There's no point banging, testing every failure opportunity, every single way how you can fail. How many entrepreneurs manage fund for start? I did not understand that. Export of agricultural commodities is good or local selling. India is the future. Literally, I cannot begin to share with you enough. As far as possible, you want your customer very close to you, otherwise someone else will take it. If you're and I'm not saying exporting is not a great idea. It can be phenomenal if you have your customer figured and you have someone there who can keep a strong watch on the customer, because customers are evolving very fast, and whoever will solve the customer's need best, they will move to them. I've seen that, people who are like India has tremendous opportunity. As far as possible, you want to serve locally, not because the nation, state, or government wants you to, because I'm telling you it's more profitable, because you have your customers right next to you. You can talk to them, walk to them, listen to them, observe them carefully, being here, and serve them best. Unless you're one of the exceptional products in which, there is an existing need which you identified well and you can serve them better than anybody else, go ahead, do it externally. How to build the core team? I think the most underrated secrets of great success is building a strong core team. And not kidding you. For all the businesses who are stuck at 100, 200, 300, 500 crores, 1000 crores, 5000 crores, most of them are stuck because they don't have a strong, solid core team in which the CEO comes down and, whatever it's. So basically, have a strong core team is fundamentally the most important. How do you build a strong core team? For a start, figure out the functions that you need filled, then figure out who's the best person for that, hire that person, and be prepared to fail at least 3 to 4 times per role. I will repeat it again. For every role, unless you have great guidance and great support, you're going to make up to 4 mistakes per role. So unless you have great guidance, for example, you want to hire the head of marketing, head of sales, or the head of, operations or production or manufacturing or quality or anything, any of these functions, you will go wrong. There is almost no way around it because interviews can be like, there's just so much. You want to be on the hunt for great talent. This is literally war for great talent. As the CEO, I think your number one job is to find great talent and be on it every day, irrespective of what your schedule says. If the CEO is working inside the business, you're half lost already. 70% of your energy should be hiring the right talent, because if you've done that part right, uh, life is good. Life is going to be good. What is good way for, I think my time is up. I'll take one last one. What is good way for payment condition in India or other countries? Very specific to business types. I will not take this question. Anilji, is there anything that you'd want to ask, or, I have another meeting now. Oh, this from Arunachal, someone's written something really long. I had some of my education in Arunachal as well. But anyway, I think that question has disappeared. So forget it. Thank you, Anilji, for sharing this opportunity.
I just want to ask you a very small question.
Please, Anilji.
Because you are a young man, you are dealing with a lot of people, giving a lot of advice. What kind of resistance do you face when you're giving your ideas to people?
Phenomenal question. You're saying what kind of resistance do I face when I give ideas to people?
Yeah.
As much as I'd want to answer that, I don't face very many. I'll tell you why. I charge upfront, and all my customers are very, very selective. They're selected after a rigorous process. There's a 3-month assessment phase for every single coachee that I finally shortlist. These are all people who are serious business owners who have at least 10, 20, 30 years of experience in business. They're all 50, 55, 60 years of age. They start from young and they're paid upfront. So they know that, whatever I'm saying is in their best interest. So there's almost no resistance. They're eager to learn. Plus, the model is such that it works like a charm. So hardly resistance, because when they see it working for them, I'll tell you, when people know that this works for them, for the first 1 or 2 times, when they don't listen and they fall, then the next time they come back and they realize, yeah, we'll do it exactly how you were saying it. Did you understand?
Good to hear from you that you don't face any resistance.
Yeah, because I'm not in the advising business. I don't advise. I coach people. So when I coach, in the sense, like, this is one thing that I don't do, like these sessions. You would not find a lot of me online in these, pre-recorded. I'm not a teacher, trainer, or any of those sort. As a coach, I coach one person, like I do only one-to-ones. And in that, there's an assessment phase of 3 months in which I assess if this is a coachable client also or not. And we've turned down people who are 30, 40, 50,000 crore, big groups, they're managing directors, because if it will not work, I'll let them know in advance. So they don't waste their time, I don't waste mine. So I coach that person into finding clarity. So I'll give you an example. Why are most people stuck? And you could be a big, managing director, industry mover, but inside, people are not achieving as much as they can achieve. Or even if you're a student who's stuck, it's because you have a lack of clarity. A lack of clarity about exactly what you want to do. We have so many ideas running through our brains all day and night. Okay. But clarity nahi hai ki kya karna hai usme se. So I help them get that clarity by working with them. So once they have that clarity, they have the confidence that, yeah, this is exactly what I want to do. And they have the confidence, they have the courage, and they action. Anilji, I hope this gives some perspective, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Saurabh. Thanks a lot for coming and joining us and sharing your perspective. And I'm sure all those who have joined us today would have immensely benefited from frank and free opinion. And I'm sure they'll access you in future if they find that they have some more ideas to take from you. Thank you,
Fantastic.
and all the very best. Thanks for
Thank you,
joining.
Anand. Thank you very much for your time, and I wish all of ASSOCHAM and everybody who's a participant here, um, I wish you the very best. And yeah, make yourself proud, make India proud. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.